My name's Maureen Landes. I am a real estate agent, and my company is called Landes Properties. And if anyone wanted to visit, it's landesproperties.com. I have a blog there, and my handle across social media is at Landes Properties. And I help people mostly in Loudoun County, but Fairfax. I'm licensed in Virginia with renting, buying, or selling, or investing residential homes.
Awesome. All right, well, take me back. What initially drew you to real estate? Kind of tell me your story. Give me an overview.
So I've lived in Loudoun County for over 30 years. So I think that's my strength as a realtor is I know the area. But I also before that moved around a lot growing up, and even as a young adult and an adult, I probably moved 20 plus times. So I was actually a high school teacher, and one of my colleagues was getting ready to retire and became a real estate agent and said like, oh, I think you'd be really good. So I was like, oh, really? And so that kind of got me into it. But I remembered I'd forgotten something. When I first graduated from college, I moved to New York City for a little bit, and I actually had a brief job showing houses in New York, which I had completely forgotten about.
Wow.
But so I guess that was my little first step in, and then the story that I just told is how I got into it. So
Wow, very cool. All right, well, as you mentioned, you've lived in Loudoun County for over 30 years. What makes this place feel like home to you, and why do you love helping others plant roots here?
Well, I would say people are moving in and out a lot, so planting roots. I guess the area we're in right now, downtown Leesburg, a lot of roots are here. But I'm in the Ashburn area, and the metro just came out, and the airport is right there, and people travel out of the country for the summer and come back. And so, what was the question? Why do I like helping people?
Yeah.
So there's just this area is so unique. There's just so much. Like I said, we're right near Washington, D.C., which is an amazing opportunity. But then we're near West Virginia, and we have horse country. And if you like drinking, we have so many breweries and wineries. We have pretty much any amenity you could ask for. Like if you like working out, we have, an assortment of different kinds of gyms and Top Golf and iFly and lots of shopping, and the schools are really good. There's just so much here. So I feel like people who, if you're fortunate enough to be able to find a home here, and I like to help people find a home, even if they think maybe it's out of their reach, I think it's a great area to live. That was a long answer, but.
No, it's a perfect answer. I mean, I feel like when you live somewhere for so long, you feel super passionate about sharing why it is so incredible. You get to know kind of the little secret spots, and then just yeah, I love sharing that with people too, because I love living here, but especially from a realtor's perspective, that's amazing. What do you think most people don't realize about Ashburn and Brambleton until they live here, and what makes them truly special communities?
I would say I think there's a perception from people who choose to live in that area. I think a lot of people go for the schools, and also they know that it's just a really well taken care of area. But I think maybe people would be surprised that you can, it can feel like you're living in a small community there. And, I think all of the amenities help, whereas, in areas where you don't have all that, it's probably a lot harder because you're thinking of more, survival things than building a community. But I think there are a lot of ways that you can get involved and meet people. And also, I mentioned earlier, there are people from all over the world in that area, so it's just a really unique opportunity.
Yeah, amazing. For someone moving to Loudoun County from out of state, what would you say the top 3 things they should know before choosing a neighborhood are?
Oh, good one. I always think of schools because I get that question a lot for people who have kids. So I guess I would say ask your realtor. Hopefully they know, because a lot of neighborhoods are within walking distance to an elementary school, for example, if that's important to you. But then the other thing with that is because we're growing so much, rezoning happens a lot with where kids are assigned to go to school. So I wouldn't, like if you have to go to this one school, I probably wouldn't make a decision based on that. Number 2, I would say think about, like, if you work from home, what are you gonna need a home office? Or are you gonna be okay, sharing a wall with someone in a condo or a townhouse? And then if you are commuting, I mentioned like the metro finally came to Ashburn. I think that's been a plan since the 70s.
Yeah.
But if you're open to that, are a lot of bus stops and great ways to get to the metro if you need to commute. So I would say consider that. So I guess location. And then just cost of living. I mentioned that I lived in New York City for a while, and I thought that was the most expensive place. And then when I came back home, I was like, oh, wow, this is like not too much different. So I'm sure most people are probably aware of that, but the cost of living can be high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I resonate with that. I used to live in Boston, and I was like,
Oh.
it can't be close to this.
Right.
And then I look at some of the prices here, and I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's a little bit close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how has raising your family in Loudoun shaped the way you serve your clients who are doing the same?
Well, I definitely give a lot of recommendations for things that I enjoyed with my kids, whether it's, like a preschool or parks that we would go to, activities, ways to have fun and find enrichment, like at different budgets too. Like we have a great public library system with all kinds of activities and, free and reduced programs, or who gives private voice lessons, or I feel like I'm rambling and I forgot the exact question again.
I don't know,
but
just how raising your family in Loudoun has
Yeah.
kind of shaped.
I think just our experiences I like to share because when I originally moved to New York, I was like, I will never move back to small town Leesburg. And then it's actually been just, really an idyllic place to raise a family. So I think just sharing the resources that have worked for us. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure that people are super appreciative of that too, because it's one thing to like Google like, insight on different things, but to get that inside scoop is so helpful. So
I actually love doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so much fun. You've moved nearly 20 times across 6 states.
Mm-hmm.
How does that experience help you to empathize and guide your clients?
I know that moving definitely has the potential to be stressful, whether you're single or you have a big family or, everything in between. So, understanding, not taking things personally because emotions are high and things can happen, and kind of thinking about, what can help them, whether it's, if they have to sell their home, maybe think about like, well, if you're not going to be using this stuff for the next couple months, maybe start packing that up and kind of project managing the process for them. And yeah, just thinking of little things that can make it a positive, maybe stressful experience instead of a negative experience, because it can be fun to move, whether you want to or you have to, you can make the best of it and, enjoy packing up and organizing and all that. So.
Yeah. Love that. Ooh, this is a fun one. So what is one hidden gem in Loudoun County that you always recommend to clients? It could be a park, a restaurant, an experience, anything like that.
Oh man, I'm probably not going to think of the best one. Let me think.
If you want to come back to it, we can come back to it as well.
I can just say off the top of my head, I don't know if this is a hidden gem, but we're nearby. I love Idly Water Park. So, and you can get the pass for, I think, I need to check for this year, but I think you can get the pass for the summer so that, you get like 20 passes and it's a little bit reduced and you get to go in earlier, I think. If you live in the town of Leesburg, you definitely get to go in earlier and then everyone else goes in. So,
yeah.
But that's super fun for the whole family.
That's a great recommendation. As a kid that grew up here, I loved Idly
Oh,
Water
good,
Park.
yeah.
So that's amazing. In terms of like client-centered business philosophy, what does a smooth, stress-free real estate experience really look like, and how do you make that happen for your clients aside from like kind of meeting them where they're at?
Yeah.
With the empathy.
I think so. Sometimes I have to remind myself to communicate things that real estate agents do on behalf of their clients, so it doesn't seem like, oh, well, that was easy. But I think if they have that feeling, then you've done the right job. So, like mitigating problems before they arise and communicating with all the parties involved to take that off of the hands of the people who are moving, but whether it's buying or selling, so they can focus on the things like that only they can do. But I guess just taking care of everything for them.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you ensure that your clients feel heard, informed, and in control during such a big life decision?
Well, I love that question, feeling in control, because I want it to be clear to them always, like, this is my advice, but it's your decision. And it's probably, most likely the biggest purchase they'll probably make. So it's, they might know something that I don't, or they might just want to, if I recommend, like, well, this is the price that probably is a good price, and they feel really strongly that they don't want to do that. That's not my job to say, well, you have to do that. So communicating, it's their decision. And you said feeling calm, I think, or feeling...
yeah, just feeling heard, informed, and in control.
Yeah. I think like I said, I used to be a teacher for a long time. So I think every client is different, and it reminds me of when you're in the classroom and every student is different. I don't have like a formula, but I guess depending on, the person's personality, some people just want like, bullet points and saying like, okay, getting that done, taking care of that. And then some people really want you to hold their hand and walk them through and weigh in on decisions more. So I guess just, it depends on the person to make sure that I'm meeting their needs.
Yeah. I think your background in education really lends well to this type of work, because the experience is so different when you feel heard and you feel in control, and you don't feel like you're getting that one size fits all
Mm-hmm.
approach to the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the biggest purchase pretty much that they'll have in their life. So they don't want to feel like icky about that experience coming away from it.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, that's really amazing. What do you wish more people knew about kind of the behind the scenes effort you put into every transaction?
I guess it's a lot of little details. I don't actually watch any of the real estate shows. Like, I don't even know if Selling Sunset is still on, but I haven't watched anything like that. But I know, like, I think some of the word out there is that, oh, you're just opening doors, but some of it is really boring. Like making sure inspections are taken care of and knowing the different laws and making sure all of the documents and contracts are uploaded correctly and the right signatures and all of that. So I guess it's just, you could do it yourself, but we're really just kind of doing a lot of the boring stuff for you, I would say. And then also for anyone who's interested in going to real estate, I didn't realize there's a lot of, obviously with any business that you start, there's a lot of expenses. So I am kind of glad I didn't know that. I don't know if I would have made the leap, but yeah, I guess that.
Cool. What common mistakes do you see buyers or sellers making in today's market, and how do you help them avoid these pitfalls?
I would say just in general with any market, I think really, well, okay, let me see a couple things. So starting at the beginning, like with buyers, for example, I would say reach out, and you don't have to just reach out to one real estate agent or lender, whoever you go to first. You can talk to different people and find out who you're comfortable with. But reach out early, because you might be more qualified than you think you are, and you've been waiting on the sidelines. And if you just ask the question, you would find out that you can be a homeowner, like, and that's what you wanted to do. Or you might find out, oh, I have to take these steps and it's going to take, 18 months or something. So it's better to find out early, because, some people don't want to look at it and they don't want to think about it if they think the answer isn't something they'll like. So I guess I would say reach out. The general thing with sellers, I think, is if you get personally attached to your home, and then maybe if you're looking at, Zillow or the news or something, and you have this one price stuck in your mind and you're not willing to budge from that, I guess the way I would put it is maybe not considering professional advice. Like I said, it's your choice and you can wait, but sometimes homes end up expiring because they didn't sell at that price, or you have to drop the price, and then that usually isn't good because people are like, well, what's wrong with it? Why did the price drop? So I guess listening to advice. And then the thing I was going to say at first is just with the market, I think I've only been in the business for a short time, but, real estate agents who've been in for decades say, like, that's just the way it is. So if you have to move, maybe don't try to time the market so closely. Just make the best of the situation, like with interest rates, or if it's a seller's market, or, yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. As a new home co-broker, what are the advantages of working with you when buying new construction homes?
So most people might know this, but I'm sure some people don't know it. When you're buying a new construction home, the person who's in the sales office and is showing you everything is actually representing the builder. So it will probably work out fine, but just having someone who's representing you on your behalf, and then doing all the same things that, we would do for any transaction, like making sure the inspections happen and the contracts are followed and the dates and all of that. So it's just to have your representation instead of buying from the salesperson who's representing the builder.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. In terms of relationship building and values, what is your approach to building lifelong relationships with your clients, and how do you stay connected even after closing day?
I try not to, I know, it's I guess it'd be a marketing technique, to make sure you check in with people. And I try not to be robotic about it and think of that way, because mostly if I meet someone and we go through the whole transaction and it's happy, then, I want to keep in touch. So I guess I would just say, just keeping in touch, like if they were pregnant when they were moving in, checking in to see, like, how's the baby doing? Or, if I knew that they were going to be switching jobs, checking in, like, are you still happy in this home? Do we need to find something else? And just, I guess, I think when I got into the business, I had this conception about, like, selling and being annoying. And so I just don't think about that. I just genuinely check in, and if they need my help, then I can help them.
Yeah. Well, I think that's great. I think it's great not to think too much about it in like a salesy way, because it can come across, or not it can come across, but I think your approach is the best way to do it. Just that human approach of actually caring about people. I mean,
Yeah.
you're following them through this journey, so it's nice to kind of just check in and see how they're doing. Yeah.
It's a great way to meet people, too, because I can be introverted. So it's like, oh, well, I had to meet you, and now we're friends. Or, maybe not necessarily friends, but acquaintances at least.
Yeah. I get that. All right. What core values would you say guide you and your real estate business every single day?
Definitely being ethical. Have you seen the show Modern Family? I don't know if people still watch that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I love Phil Dunphy, and I want to be like him. And there's this character on the show who's a real estate agent who just kind of doesn't do the right thing. And like, it's been my experience, it's like any field, like there are people like that. So I just want to make sure, like we said, it's probably the biggest purchase of your life. So making sure everything is done right, making sure the person feels like heard and taken care of and respected, and that we have a duty to put the client's interest above our own. So I take that seriously. And then I guess the other thing is my vision going forward is using the platform for other causes too. Like I recently became an ASPCA business ambassador. I'm really excited about, and supporting other causes like the Trevor Project. I'm part of the LGBTQ plus Real Estate Alliance as an ally, and just. I guess just spreading positivity with the platform that you have.
Yeah. And I can tell just from talking to you, you exude that positive energy and that spirit. And I would love to have you as a realtor.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Could you share a recent story where you went above and beyond for a client, and how that moment reminded you why you do what you do?
I don't I can think of a couple things. I don't know if it's really, above and beyond, but when I'm following up after the transaction and, like thinking about, I usually think of like a little gift, nothing like crazy. Maybe I will someday, I don't know. But usually now I just give something personal. So, like clients that just had a baby and, giving them like a set of books, or like I helped some clients find their dream home. They foster dogs, and so like contribute. Yeah, so bringing them toys and treats for the dogs and things like that. So I don't know if that's like above and beyond, but those are the moments that I'm like, oh, I love this. This is so awesome that I get to contribute to like a family's next step, or someone else doing something good in the world. So
I think it's above and beyond.
thank you.
That's amazing. Yeah, I was going to ask you, is there anything else you want to add about being an ASPCA Business Ambassador? Congratulations
Thanks.
on
Yeah.
becoming one.
I just wanted to highlight it, that so I can officially use their logo. I was really proud and excited about that. And I just care about animals, obviously. And that's something I have a conflict sometimes with real estate, because we have all of this new development that's so beautiful, but then it can displace wildlife and the nature that was already here. So I like to find neighborhoods that are trying to, like Willowsford is one neighborhood that it has a pretty high price point, but they have like conservancy areas, and they have like a farmer's market. And oh, one more thing. This is kind of off topic, but I just wanted to encourage people. Something that they could do is like rethinking how we do landscaping. So like, a lot of people for the past couple decades have, like the lawn has been a big part of culture, but just replacing it with like pollinators and things like that, it's already getting to be a little bit more trendy in some magazines. And so if enough people did that, then I think HOAs would be like, okay, you're allowed to do this. And it's just something little you can do to help the environment.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Thank you for including that.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to touch on the fact that you'll be licensed in Delaware soon, which
Yeah.
is so exciting.
Yes.
You seem to be really growing within your career. So how does that like contribute to maybe your like 5-year plan, or what are you excited about in regards to that?
I love the beach. I was lucky enough to grow up going to a beach in the summer, it's Ocean City, New Jersey. But a few years ago, my family started going to the beaches in Delaware, like Sussex County. There's like Rehoboth, Lewis, Dewey, Bethany Beach. And so I'm pretty sure I would like to buy a home there and possibly, rent. I'm not sure what the structure will look like, but manage it as a rental, and then we can stay there and also help people find homes there, because it's a great location. I don't want to tell too many people so the word doesn't get out too much, but
Gatekeep a little bit.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to add that I didn't touch on?
I don't think so. I just the first question, I think when we first got in touch, was talking about success, and I love that, because I was like, I don't know if I'm successful yet. Like I haven't hit these certain, markers that you have in your head, but I guess just like defining your own version of success, and like you said about like being positive and focusing on positivity. And and if people want to find me, like I said, my website is Landes Properties. You can reach me that way and get in touch.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.